To receive credit for a certificate of completion for ticket dismissal and/or an insurance discount, you must complete the registration process at WirelessDefensiveDriving.com as required by the Texas Education Agency. You may continue to access this information for entertainment purposes only, but unless you register, you will not receive credit or a certificate for insurance or ticket dismissal.
The following presentation is brought to you by WirelessDefensiveDriving.com. Welcome back to the studio. Please help me welcome your host, Mr. Chuck Sheffield.
Hello, Mr. Raffone, and hello to our panel. Today we're going to be talking about special skills needed for difficult driving situations, such as inclement weather, because you just can't drive around the same way at the same speed, leaving yourself just enough time to get somewhere when the weather is bad, can you?
Of course not. When the road is wet or icy, you don't brake or handle your car the same way. Now, personally, I wish everybody would just stay home when it's icy and wet, especially here in Texas, where it's not something that we deal a lot with.
Unfortunately, work happens. But I guess we should make sure our cars are in good shape.
Well, yeah, good tires are helpful, along with keeping an eye to weather.com and staying informed on weather conditions, right?
I don't know why I even showed up today. Y'all got all this stuff down.
Well, thank you.
Everything you said is correct. The best way to maintain control and safety once you're driving in inclement weather is by slowing down your speed. In addition to slick roadways, bad weather can also make driving dangerous because of low visibility. The worse the visibility is, the more you should slow down. What should you keep in mind, Judy, regarding the car in front of you?
Well, I don't know if this is right, but I'm always thinking, would I be able to stop if that idiot in front of me slammed on his brakes and I could see those tail lights just a few feet ahead of me?
That's right, because if you can't see beyond a few car lengths in front of your vehicle because of snow, rain, fog, or other weather, you should pull off as far as possible to the side of the road in an appropriate place, turn on your hazard lights, and wait out the weather, preferably a safe distance from the vehicle, which could be struck by another motorist in the low visibility conditions.
Really? I've wondered if it was smart or dumb to pull over and wait it out.
It's good to pull over, but you also need to have some stuff with you, like what, Tony?
A bucket of chicken. No, I'll say flares.
Flares are good, but what else? Something more than every day.
A coat and an umbrella.
Right, because you never know when you might have to get help or to help someone else. Now, some drivers don't adjust their driving to these conditions and continue at regular speeds, riding up on everyone's bumper and being dangerous. What should you do if you see one of those geniuses?
You should focus on your own driving, I think. You can't control them, so you should slow down and control what you can.
Well, what about those morons who are always there, it seems like, wanting to pass everybody and go faster than all the other drivers?
You should let them pass, but don't get distracted by them. The best thing you can do to deal with aggressive drivers is to avoid being one. Makes even less sense to be an aggressive driver in inclement weather. And boys and girls, what is the one thing you should never do when you're driving, especially in inclement weather?
Watch TV.
Get a scar.
Get a tattoo.
Well, these are all good things to avoid, but really, what am I thinking?
Don't talk on your cell
I
phone.
knew you'd come through for me.
You know what I saw on Twitter just the other day? The Texas Transportation Commission was given the authority to temporarily change the speed limit because of inclement weather conditions, congestion, road conditions, or any other condition that affects the safe and orderly movement of traffic on roadways. So you have to pay attention to those portable sign messages because you just might get another ticket.
You are absolutely right, Kathy. They just passed that in 2013. Now it's time to talk about some specific weather adventures. Let's start with the most common, rain. What can you do to improve visibility in the rain?
You should turn on your lights and your defroster if your windshield fogs up.
What else, ladies?
Be sure you have enough windshield washer fluid and that your wiper blades are in good condition.
Right. A good rule of thumb is turn on your headlights whenever you use your windshield wipers. When it's raining, you should avoid sudden moves. Try to drive on the tracks of the car ahead of you, slow down, and allow for additional stopping distance. Use the 4-second rule.
I don't mean to be Mrs. Inquisitive, but what does hydroplaning mean exactly? Is it just losing control of your car in the rain?
Hydroplaning is when your tires lose contact with the road and ride up on a wedge of water. To prevent hydroplaning, make sure your tires have proper treads and are well inflated.
But what if you do go skidding off on that wedge of water?
I think you're supposed to keep your steering wheel straight and take your foot off the gas, right? Don't hit the brakes.
Right. As you slow, the weight of the car will cause it to settle down into the road again. Now that brings me to this point. Be extra careful when the rain has just started and is light and misty. Oil and dirt on the roadway surface make driving extra slippery. Remember, puddles can hide potholes that can slam your whole suspension into next week. Okay, panel, it's time for some friendly competition. I'm going to ask you a question about conditions that are even more hazardous than rain. Whoever knows should, let's see, he didn't like the barnyard noises.
I'm not mooing.
Okay. Then just shout out the answer. Okay, ready? The first category is floods, and here's Mike.
Do not attempt to drive through floodwaters because the water may be deeper than it looks.
How many feet of water can carry most cars away?
4 feet?
Sorry, no.
2 feet of water?
Is right. For the all-expense-paid trip to Cozumel.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
Yeah, just kidding. All right, next question.
If you happen to drive into an area where water is running swiftly, the force of the current may pull your car to one side.
If this happens, what should you do?
You should step on the brakes.
No, sir.
Wait, I know. You should ease off the gas pedal and steer away from the running water.
Right the second time.
How come he had 2 chances?
Teacher's pet.
I knew it.
What do you do if your car is caught in a flash flood?
Get out of it and head for higher ground.
Right. Flee the vehicle and run up a hill. Now, moving into winter driving. Before you drive out of your driveway when snow and ice has fallen, what should you do?
Oh, that's too broad. It could be anything from get a cup of coffee to buy snow tires.
What should you do about your windows?
Clean the snow and ice off all of them.
Oh, that was a gimme.
It was not. I just needed clarification.
Now, what about other parts of your car?
Maybe clean the snow and ice off your hood and trunk.
Is right, Miss Whiteman. But of course, utilize snow tires and chains if necessary.
Meaning, if you move from Texas to Chicago.
Every now and then we get slammed.
Yeah.
Talk to me about stopping.
You mean like giving yourself plenty of room to stop?
Yep. How many times more stopping distance will you need to stop on an icy road than a dry one?
1 million times. I don't know.
Tony, you got a guess?
I don't know, but it seems like it's got to be at least 3 times.
At least 3 times, and as many as 12, depending on the weight of your vehicle.
This is making me sweat under my arms just talking about it. I hate to drive on icy roads.
It can be treacherous, but it's better if you're prepared. Now, what about your lights?
Turn them on so others can see you.
Right. And you should slow down when?
All the time?
I'm sorry, I wasn't clear. I mean, regarding a turn.
Before you get there, and you should apply your brakes gently.
Right, Tony. Extra credit. What do you do if your wheels start to lock up?
Let up off the brake?
Yes, ma'am. Name 3 places where you should be especially careful on icy conditions. Each of you name one.
Bridges.
Overpasses. Oh, is that the same thing?
I don't know.
I don't think so. How about roads that aren't well traveled? Because they'll freeze first and just sit there frozen.
Yes, you're all right. Even at temperatures above freezing, if conditions are wet, you may run into some ice in shady areas or exposed roadways like bridges. Now, what gear do you use to keep traction, especially on hills?
Low.
Yes, that's what the little 1 and 2 are on your gear shift. And what should you not use on icy roads?
I bet you shouldn't use cruise control or overdrive either.
What about snowplows and sanding trucks? Good to pass?
I wouldn't think so. They can't see you for one thing. And, if they're sanding or plowing, wouldn't you want to be behind where it's been sanded or plowed?
Right.
I'm thinking.
Next question. Can a 4-wheel drive vehicle handle all conditions?
They're better, but I think it can be bad enough that even 4-wheel drive and front-wheel drive vehicles can run into trouble.
What if you're caught in a blizzard? What do you do?
Stay in your car.
Leave a window cracked, partially open.
Right. What else?
Well, you should clear snow away from your tailpipe, I bet.
You want that exhaust to escape.
Yeah.
What else in a blizzard?
Run the engine the whole time?
Well, not the whole time. Usually just about every 10 minutes to keep warm, and use that heater.
Is there a question about gas in your tank? I know something about this.
Go ahead.
Well, you should make sure you have a tank full of gas, because if there's just a little bit, it could freeze.
But how would you know? I'm pretty sure I'm going to get stuck in a blizzard today. I better top off my tank.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're starting out and it's really cold and there's snow, you should add check gas to the list with your mittens and hot cocoa.
Right, Judy. And now let's move on to fog.
Onward through the fog.
Panel, driving in heavy fog is like driving blindfolded. Believe it or not, statistically, fog is the most dangerous driving hazard, and no matter how important the trip is, it's not worth gambling your life.
Or mine if I'm next to you on the road.
Right. So, panel, what's the safest thing to do if you see a patch of fog up ahead?
You should slow down, of course. And then what? You should pull over?
What do you think, JT?
Oh, me? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Timberlake was in the house. Okay, yes. I think you're supposed to pull over.
Yes, ma'am. You should pull over and again use the 4-second rule. Do we all remember about it?
See something ahead, notice when the car in front of you passes it, count, and slow down if it takes you less than 4 seconds to pass it too. That's the 4-second rule, my fellow panelists.
Excellent. Talk to me about your headlights on high and bright.
I got this wrong on my learner's permit test in 19... Let me see if I've learned my lesson in these years. You should turn on your fog lights and make sure your high beams aren't turned on by accident because they reflect off the fog, making it even harder to see.
That's right. Your low beams direct light down onto the road and help other drivers see you.
So you were kidding when you said high and bright before.
Yeah, just making sure you're paying attention.
Well, what about your emergency flasher? Would it be good to turn that on so people are sure to see you?
Well, believe it or not, you should not use your emergency flasher. Studies have shown that drivers are attracted to flashing lights and can drive toward them inadvertently.
That just sounds dumb to me. What about police cars?
I guess nobody accidentally drives toward a police vehicle.
I guess not. So wait, should you turn your headlights off altogether? We're still talking about fog, right?
Yep, still talking about fog. Well, what do you say, Kathy? Headlights off?
No, I don't think so. Not all the way off. Even if they interfere with your forward visibility a little bit, headlights are the only part of your vehicle that oncoming drivers can see at a distance.
But what if you just flat can't see? It's pea soup city.
Well, you should pull well into the shoulder and get your vehicle completely off the road. Okay, new topic. Tornadoes.
Which we have in the great state of Texas.
Indeed we do. What should you do if you're in your car and see a tornado or hear a radio warning that there's one in your area, or your mother calls you saying, there's a tornado?
Wow, I know the answer to this. Are you through so I can say it?
Yeah, for now.
You should never try to outrun a tornado. If you think one is really close, believe it or not, you should leave your car. If you can't find shelter in a safe building, lie flat in the nearest ditch or gully with your arms over your head and make all kinds of promises about what you'll never do again if you just live to see another sunny day.
Only that was a thing of beauty. Okay, just a brief moment about hurricanes, which don't happen all that often or usually all that far inland, but still a very serious weather hazard and important if you live near the Texas coast or vacation down there. You know, I'm not even going to joke around about this. If a hurricane watch is issued in your area, pack your car with essentials and fill your gas tank. Listen to the radio for instructions and evacuate if they say so. In fact, if you live near the coast, you should be familiar with evacuation routes and use them. Flooding can happen without warning before and after a hurricane, and watch for downed utility lines, trees, and debris from hurricane-force winds.
We love you, Galveston.
And Houston.
Yes, we do. We love all the Texas coastal places. Okie dokie. Less severe but more frequent. Thunderstorms. Where's the safest place to be if you're driving and there's lightning?
I think you're supposed to stay in your car, aren't you? And if you have to pull over, park in an open area away from trees.
Right. What should you watch for?
Ben Franklin flying a kite.
Marty. What else?
Flooded roadways.
And downed branches and power lines.
Yes, ma'am, especially if you're driving after a thunderstorm. And P.S., hail associated with thunderstorms can not only hamper visibility, but it can also shatter your windshield. Okay, now it's time to talk about something you cannot escape in the state of Texas, no matter how far north you go, starting in about May.
Hot weather. Broken down cars with overheated engines.
Right you are. Hot weather causes more than 7 million cars to break down on the road each summer nationwide.
I wouldn't be surprised to hear that 7 million cars break down in Texas alone.
We have a lot of them, but not quite that many. So what is particularly important to do when you're driving in hot weather besides get your air conditioner fixed? Judy?
Well, I'm not sure where you're headed. Do you mean like keep bottled water in the car, that kind of precaution?
I was thinking more about your dashboard.
Don't touch it or it'll burn your fingerprints off. Just kidding. I think you want me to say that we should all keep an eye on the lights and gauges.
That's right. And what do you do if your tip gauge moves up?
I know this because it's weird and I had to do it once. You turn your AC off and turn your heater to its highest and hottest setting. You'll sweat and you'll be miserable.
Yeah.
But it will help draw some of the heat away from the engine.
Okay.
I'm impressed you knew that. Yes, it's true. Odd as it may seem. After you've done that, and if you're stopped in traffic, what should you do?
Man, I don't know. Turn the air conditioner back on for a second so you don't die.
No, ladies.
No, you got me.
I don't know. We got nothing.
You should put the car in park and lightly step on the gas to help circulate coolant. Well, that's
Huh.
learn something every day, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if temperature light goes on, or if the gauge enters the red zone, what do you do, and how bad is that?
I think you need to shut it down. Pull off the road to a safe place, and really don't even drive to the next exit.
That's right, Kathy. If you drive with an overheated engine, you can cause serious damage to it.
You might as well have a light that says you have now done $3,000 worth of damage to your car.
I think car manufacturers are working on that even as we speak. I need to let you know this. Don't attempt to remove that radiator cap yourself. The coolant is hot and pressurized, and it can spray out with great force and ruin your day.
Can you cool it down by pouring water over the radiator or the whole engine?
Tony, any ideas about whether that's a good idea or not?
I think it's not a good idea because a dramatic change in temperature could cause damage. You should wait until the engine cools.
And then what? What should you add?
Is this the 50-50 mix deal? Half coolant and half water in the reservoir to bring it up to the proper level.
Yes, sir. And again, I am impressed you knew that.
Mhm.
Now, this is really important point because we've seen this in the news several times lately. Even if you're stranded and your car is broken down, you should never leave a pet or worse, a child in a parked car. An outside temperature of even 80 degrees, which is a nice spring morning in Texas, can bring the interior of the car up to lethal levels, okay?
We're all over that one. No kids left behind.
And with that accidental bad pun,
Oh, wait. I didn't even mean to make an accidental pun.
we're leaving weather and moving on to one of our favorite highway phenomena, traffic congestion.
There is nothing that makes me in a worse mood. I would rather drive 15 minutes out of the way than to sit and wait.
I think most of us feel that way. What's the worst day of the week for traffic?
It's got to be Friday.
And the worst commute time?
Probably from 5 to 6 p.m., but really I think on Friday it gets bad at about 3 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
In some part of the state it probably does, but let's not confuse those listening to us. The official worst commute time is from 5 to 6. Best weekday for traffic?
Monday?
Worst morning? This may surprise you.
I'm going to guess, well, I would have said Monday.
Nope. Anybody else guess?
Wednesday maybe, for no good reason that I can think of.
Yes, that is right. The worst morning is Wednesday, and the best morning is Friday.
That is interesting.
Okay, now just listen and don't make any remarks. Okay, ready? Use the zipper method of merging, which utilizes the entire roadway and ensures a smooth and even merge of two lanes of traffic by alternating between the two lanes. Drivers in the merging lane should continue to the end of the lane at a speed that is matched to the second lane. Drivers in the second lane should then allow the merging lane to alternate one for one as they merge together into a single lane. Racing to the end of the merging lane infuriates other drivers, and merging prematurely creates a situation that inefficiently uses the roadway. Smoothly alternate one for one with the zipper method.
I am down with the zipper method.
What?
I just mean I'm down with it. I get it. I will forevermore utilize the zipper method of merging.
Along. Texas follows a uniform vehicle code that requires drivers to keep right if they're going slower than the normal speed of traffic, regardless of the speed limit. TxDOT may post signs that say left lane for passing only, in which case, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
So if your car starts to break down, then what should you do?
Pull over quickly and get completely out of the way as soon as you safely can.
Even if you just have a flat tire, should you just rim it to the station?
No, a flat tire can seriously mess up the rest of your car if you stay on it. And really, any car trouble is made worse by allowing the engine to run until it actually breaks down and quits. Pull over, stop your car, then signal or use your cell phone to get help immediately. Man, am I glad we have cell phones.
No kidding.
Okay, sorry. Back to slow-moving traffic. If you're stuck and things are moving very slowly, please do me a favor and don't call somebody on your phone just to talk. Don't text. Don't put makeup on.
Listening to you, Tony.
Not a problem. I apply my makeup before I leave the house. Don't haul out a newspaper and start to read it. The idea is to remain alert enough to keep traffic flow moving as best it can. Now, let's talk about the behavior of others on the road. If you see somebody behaving aggressively or rudely, how should you react?
How I'm tempted to react is by returning the favor and slamming on my brakes just as I get in front of them, or cut them off if they'd cut me off. But really, even though they're on my last nerve and running around on it, when I'm already late and tense, doing the same thing back to them just makes things worse. For me, for everybody.
You know, that's right. In this day and age, you don't know who's got a gun under their seat and who's had an even worse day than you have.
Rage shootings and collisions are rare, but they do happen. Don't give anyone a reason to pull anything on you. In fact, wouldn't kill you to drive courteously.
I guess it could kill you not to.
When you see someone signaling or drifting to change lanes, fall back if your grill is behind the driver of that car. If you're neck and neck, either speed up to allow the other driver to get in behind you, or if you're very gallant
And not a goofus.
and not a goofus, fall back and block for him. If you slow a bit down to allow that driver to come in ahead of you, traffic will recover almost instantly. How else can you avoid contributing to traffic congestion?
Well, this may be obvious, but it's great if you can take mass transit. If a bus or train picks up near where you are and goes to where you want to be, it can be faster, cheaper, and just more relaxing.
And it's also good for the environment. We really do a lot of damage driving everywhere in our cars.
Good point. What else can you do? Think along the same lines as mass transit.
Nothing's coming to mind. Oh, wait, are you thinking of, what do they call it, active transportation, like walking or jogging or rollerblading or riding a bike? You know, things I would never do under any circumstance except maybe if I were the victim of a college prank or a dare.
Yes, ma'am. It's the most cost-efficient means of transportation, and it's an easy way to improve your health, cut your gas bill, and save the environment.
I have good intentions, but, you know.
Okay. Let's talk about big city and driving in urban environments. According to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety,
The IIHS.
yes, according to them, city streets are the sites of more crashes involving non-fatal injuries and or property damage. The insurance group, IIHS, found 80% of crashes occurred in urban settings. And what's more, 75% of all urban crashes and 83% of injury-related accidents involved what, panel?
Failing to yield, like at red lights, stop signs, yield signs, or other traffic controls.
Right. Others?
Rear-ending the car that has stopped or is slowing down?
Yes. Judy, Kathy, any ideas?
Swerving into another lane and hitting somebody?
Yes. Kathy?
How about running off the road and hitting something, like a fire hydrant or a Starbucks or something?
Well, yes. Running off the road and striking an object. Also, turning left and colliding with an oncoming vehicle. Now, there are some simple steps you can take as a driver to survive driving in the big city. Stop at the stop signs and yield to traffic that has a right-of-way. Making a left is the most frequent crash situation.
I've tried over the years to find routes in which I only turn to the right. You know, 3 rights make a left and 3 lefts make a right, but that don't mean it's time to take the biscuits out of the oven.
Okay.
Works for me, Jimmy. Works for you.
Blank the road ahead of you. Keep your attention focused on the driving task.
Look carefully at, scan.
Excellent. We were looking for scan. Keep a cushion of blank around your vehicle.
Phone packing beads.
And I was so proud of your scan answer.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's a cushion of space. I always feel better if I have to plan of action in case something bad happens and enough space to get out of there to avoid a crash if I need to.
And so proud of my panel. And finally, drive blankly.
I'm sorry, did you just say drive blankly?
I did.
Defensively.
That's right, Kathy. Whether you're in the city or out in the boonies of Wiley where Judy lives. Okay, it's time to talk about Judy's neighborhood, rural environment.
Why are you picking on my hood? Wiley is the gateway to heaven.
Well, speaking of less than urban places like Wiley, Texas,
Where's the love?
we're moving on to safe driving conditions in rural environments. It's hard to say, rural environments. What do you think, panel? Are rural highways safer than city freeways?
Oh, they must be. I mean, how fast can anybody get going behind a tractor with a pickup truck in front of him?
I think this is a trick question. I think I remember reading that high-speed head-on crashes are more common on 2-lane rural roadways than urban freeways or even interstate highways, and they are right deadly.
Kathy, you are right. The key to safe driving is what, Judy?
Look out for cattle that has gotten out of its yard. That happened to us, and we had only lived in Wiley for about a month. Cows were blocking our street. Well, that's not really the answer. I bet it's go the posted speed limit.
That's right. Rural roads are usually narrower than city streets, and so drivers should take extra caution when there are sharp turns, dips, blind corners shaded by woods or fields or cattle.
I've gotten behind some dips on the road before.
Coming out to my house.
I believe that you are right.
You should also learn to share the road with slow-moving vehicles like farm equipment and horse-drawn buggies.
Horse-drawn buggies? What is this, Amish drag racing?
I've got Pennsylvania on my mind.
You could see a horse pulling a wagon in the state of Texas, and certainly farm equipment.
I've seen them.
If you do see something slow in your path, slow down and prepare to pass with caution only when it's legal and safe. Now, before we leave rural Texas, what's something else you have to watch out for in the country? Talking about road surfaces.
Oh, well, I know. Gravel. You can skid on gravel roads if you're not careful.
That's right. Gravel roads have less traction, so applying the brakes hard or turning sharply may cause your vehicle to skid. Okay, moving along to another special interest roadway. Let's talk about the highway or the expressway or the freeway or whatever you want to call it. You know what? I'm tired of being the ringleader. Kathy, come over and take over for me and lead this expressway discussion.
Why, I'd be only too honored. Give me your notebook.
Here you go. I'm going to go get a cup of coffee.
Okay, class, and by that I mean Judy and Tony.
We're here.
What do you need to do when you're entering the expressway?
Speed up.
I mean, what do you do about other vehicles?
Yield.
Yes, ma'am. You yield the right-of-way to vehicles already on the freeway. You enter the speed change lane, stay to the right, signal left, and when the way is clear, increase your speed so that you can merge with the flow of traffic. Next question. Tony, what do you do if you want to drive at the minimum speed limit or even below the normal flow of traffic, like you're moving a piano?
What? Does it really say anything about a piano?
Hush, Judy, this is my question. You stay in the right-hand lane.
That is so right. If you're driving faster than the other traffic, where should you drive?
In the middle or left-hand lane?
Good student. What about when you plan to leave the freeway? When should you change lanes?
As early as possible.
Exactly right. And once you have chosen your lane, you should drive in the middle of it and stay in it. Don't be weaving in and out of traffic, making everybody around you crazy. What about your speed on the highway?
Well, I think you should keep pace with the traffic. Don't speed along, but don't go 2 miles an hour either.
And of course, you should stay 2 seconds behind the car in front of you, 4 seconds if the weather is sketchy.
You should adjust your speed to allow others to enter and exit safely. Not everyone will have had this course and learned how not to drive.
All good answers. Vehicles in any lane except the right lane used for slower traffic should be prepared to move to another lane to allow faster traffic to pass. Okay, now let's talk about leaving the expressway. The greater the traffic, what? Judy?
The greater the traffic. Oh, is this the greater the traffic, the sooner you should move to the lane you need to get in to exit out of? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am a certified teacher of English.
That is the correct answer, certified English teacher. Exit signs are usually placed at least 1,000 yards ahead of the exit turnoff. What else about exiting?
You should slow down on the exit ramp, and while you exit, slow down even more so that by the time you're off the freeway, you're traveling the slower speed limit that's posted on the access road.
Right again. Next up, reduced visibility conditions.
Okay, I'm back with my coffee. Do you need me to take over?
No, Kathy's doing fine.
Come on, Chuck, you be a panelist for a while. See how the other half lives.
I'm game. What are we discussing?
Reduced visibility, such as hills and curves. These are a hazard to drivers because your line of vision is limited. If you see a sign that says limited sight distance 55 feet, what does that mean?
You probably think I don't know this without the answer book in front of me, but you'd be sadly mistaken. What that is warning you about is that you cannot see what is beyond the top of the hill or around the curve, so you should reduce your speed to 55 miles an hour in this case. Of course, the speed limit posted on these signs will vary depending on each situation.
That's sort of troubling to think somebody would be hurling toward a curve faster than 55 miles an hour, but you are right, Chuck. You should use caution whenever you approach a hill or curve. Okay, I guess you can take back over. I'll take my place on the panel.
Let's hear it for Kathy. Good
Yay!
job!
Yes, great
rock.
job, Kathy. All right, I'll take it from here.
Oh, that was kind of fun.
Moving on, let's talk about nighttime driving, which according to the National Safety Council is more dangerous than daytime driving. In fact, the NSC says traffic death rates are 3 times greater at night than during the day.
What's that headlight rule about dawn and dusk?
Well, you're supposed to use your headlights beginning 30 minutes after sunset and ending 30 minutes before sunrise, or any other time when people and cars can't be seen clearly for at least 1,000 feet. What else can you do to increase your ability to see and be safer at night?
Well, you can keep your windshield clean, inside and out, and keep your headlights clean and aimed. You may blind oncoming drivers if you don't. You won't be able to see the road well either.
Judy?
Well, I think slowing down makes everything a little safer, and there are still some places in Texas and in other states, too, that have lower nighttime speed limits posted.
She said something important there. Everything is safer if you're going more slowly. What else about night driving?
I hate to drive on dark roads. I guess you could say you should try to stick to well-lit roads and, go slower so you don't have to overdrive your headlights.
Righto. What should you do if oncoming vehicles fail to lower their headlight beams? How can you avoid glare from light?
By focusing on the right edge of the road as a steering guide.
You must have read ahead when you were being the ringmaster.
I did. But I want to ask you this, because I didn't read this far ahead. What do you do if a car behind you is following too close?
Aha, does somebody know?
I've always just pulled over and let them pass. Sometimes they're not even that close, but their headlights are blinding me in my rearview mirror, and I say, like, have the road, buddy.
Good rule of thumb. If you have to drive at night a lot or headlights really bother you and you wear glasses, ask your eye doctor about an anti-glare coating he can put on your glasses. Now, if you're driving at night and getting tired, what should you do?
I never miss a chance to have a guilt-free snack. I say pull over and get something to eat.
That's a good idea. You can also walk around and get a little exercise.
I prefer the moon pie, thank you. But of course, if you get really tired, you should find a safe place to pull over and stop and rest.
Let's go back to the headlights for a minute. My car has those daytime running lights, but I don't think my last car did. What do you do if you're driving an old car? About the lights, I mean.
You should turn your headlights on as soon as twilight occurs. That way, other drivers can see your car more easily. You know, headlight glare is flared, if you will, into a bigger problem than ever. Lots of cars now have fog lamps or other auxiliary lights in front. High-intensity discharge, or HID lights, are showing up on more cars in the U.S., especially the upscale models.
How do they work?
Well, they use a high-voltage electrical arc to ionize xenon gas and make it glow. HIDs emit twice the light of halogen headlamps, but also produce a blue-white light. Headlights point as little as 1 degree too high can make a huge difference to oncoming drivers. Misaimed beams also don't cast much light on the road, where it's needed the most. Studies show that half of the vehicles in states that require regular inspections had at least one improperly aimed headlight.
Well, what about this? I love my SUV, but I feel like my headlights ride higher and might be shining into other drivers' eyes.
You're not alone on the road. Sales of SUVs and light trucks have surpassed sales of passenger cars in recent years. Now, many of these larger vehicles, especially the four-wheel drive variety, do ride higher than cars. As a result, their headlights ride higher and can shine directly into your eyes.
We can't do anything about that, can we?
Well, you should aim your headlights correctly. That will help you see better and help other drivers avoid glare. Now, what else can you do to help yourself see better at night and fight glare?
Clean your headlights?
Yes. When you squeegee your windshield at the gas station, be sure to squeegee your headlights too. Even a thin layer of road grime on the lenses can block up to 90% of the light and severely restrict your ability to see at night. What else?
I can see better, especially at night, if I keep the inside of the windshield clean, too.
Good answer. Streaks, smudges, and road grime on your windows catch and refract light, and this includes the inside of your windshield. And remember, align your headlights properly. Not only will you keep from blinding other drivers, it will help you to see the road better as well. What else?
Are we still fighting glare?
Yes. Anyone? No. Well, you should adjust both your outside mirrors. Properly aligned mirrors not only reduce blind spots, they reduce glare from vehicles behind you.
But how do you know how to adjust your mirrors? If you're driving down the road, you shouldn't take your eyes off the highway to adjust your mirrors, should you?
AAA recommends the following method. Right? First, sitting in the driver's seat, lean to the left and tilt your head until it rests against the window. From that position, adjust the driver's side mirror so you can just see the left rear fender. Then, while sitting in the driver's seat, lean to the right and tilt your head until it's in the center of the vehicle. From that position, adjust the passenger side mirror so that the right rear fender is just visible.
Can we have a field trip down to our cars to try it?
No, let's keep going. If you try that method, you'll probably also notice that arrangement reduces blind spots and makes it easier to spot vehicles to the side and rear. Here are some other behind-the-wheel tips for fighting glare. First, avert your eyes. When oncoming vehicles shine light directly into your eyes, look down and to the right. Turn your gaze to the white line on the right side of the road or to where the pavement meets the shoulder until the vehicle goes by. You can still see the vehicles around you with your peripheral vision, but the glare won't bother you as much because you're not using it most. Can somebody think of another one?
I have a night setting on my mirror. I think all cars have day, night, interior mirrors that reduce reflected glare from vehicles directly behind you. I can change the mirror to its night setting by flipping the little lever at the bottom of the mirror.
Also, use common sense and don't be a jerk. Use your lights courteously. If your car has fog lamps, don't use them if there's no fog.
Very good point. And if you do need to use them, like in real fog, use your low beams. High beams reduce your ability to see and may temporarily blind other drivers. Avoid using your high beams when you see oncoming vehicles or if you're in an urban area.
When I have to fight glare for a long time, like on a trip, I need to stop for a break more times than during the day.
Absolutely. Stop often to reduce fatigue and give your eyes a chance to recover. Take a little nap or at least a brisk walk, and don't hesitate to drink some coffee or soda. A little caffeine is good for helping you stay alert and ready to have a lightning round. We're going to be talking about roadway conditions next, and as most of you know, part of becoming an experienced and skillful driver is learning the most efficient methods of driving safely when road conditions are less than ideal. Quick, panel, name some conditions you may need to be aware of as you drive. I'm setting my watch for 1 minute. Ready, Judy, go.
Oh, I hate timed things. Potholes or uneven pavement.
Right, go around the room.
Defectively programmed traffic lights.
Improper or missing signals.
No shoulder or insufficient shoulder.
Right, Kathy.
No guardrails or inadequate guardrails.
Lack of warning of road work or inappropriate warnings.
Objects left in the roadway.
Other hazardous road conditions.
Other roadway design defects.
Aha, good answers. More.
Overgrown trees or shrubs or something blocking signs or lines of sight.
Pooling water, hydroplaning.
Low water crossing.
Insufficient median or dividers.
Poorly marked construction zones.
How many more are there?
2.
Narrow roads.
Inadequate road lighting or illumination. Woohoo! I think we did it.
Yeah,
Did we
we
come in
did.
under a minute?
I think. Oh, man, I forgot to hit the go button. But I'm sure you did, though. What a panel. Remember, everybody, reduce your speed and pay attention to obstacles or other conditions that could be hazardous or unsafe.
This section also contains video media. If you have previously downloaded the media to your device as an audio podcast or a video podcast, then please watch the video now. The video will automatically play when you log into the quiz. If you have already watched it, clicking on the continue button will take you directly to the quiz. The quiz does have questions pertaining to the video, so be sure to watch it in its entirety.
Driver education, the rules of the road. Driving is a privilege that affords you a great deal of freedom. Roads span our country, just waiting to take you wherever you want to go. However, automobile accidents are a leading cause of death in the United States. To ensure that your car does not become a deadly weapon, you must be aware of the rules. We'll give you some tips for driving in adverse conditions. When weather is bad, driving becomes more difficult and much more dangerous. Various forms of precipitation can obscure a driver's vision and might accumulate on roadways, so a good driver must know how to handle these adverse conditions. Fog is comprised of small droplets of water in the air. These particles reflect light, so when driving in fog, make sure that you do not have your high beam headlights on. This will only make it harder for you to see. Drive slowly and keep a safe distance between your car and others. Rain reduces visibility for everyone on the road, so anytime a car's windshield wipers are on, its headlights should be on also. Rain reduces a car's ability to perform. When roads become slick from rain and from oil on the road, traction is one of the first things that is compromised. This loss of traction can result in hydroplaning, which can cause you to lose control of your car. For these reasons, it is critical to reduce your rate of speed and to increase the 2-second rule to at least 4 seconds. If, even after slowing down, your field of vision is limited, pull off the road, turn on your hazard lights, and wait for the storm to pass. Snow is most likely to block a driver's vision when it is being whirled around by the wind. In this case, reduce your speed and use low beam headlights. If snow has accumulated on your car, pull off the road and clear off the entire car, paying close attention to your windshield wipers, headlights, and tail lights. If you find yourself skidding on snow or ice, Don't panic and don't slam on the brakes. Simply remove your foot from the accelerator and gently guide the car back into a straight path. Following the rules of the road is not optional. Before you begin planning that road trip, or even before going to the grocery store, take the time to become familiar with these guidelines. They not only make driving easier, they can save your life.